Hare Krishna. I welcome everybody to Bhakti Vikasa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshav Anand Prabhuji to enlighten us on topic Srimad Bhagavatam, verses 4th canto, 14th chapter, 19th verse onwards. Hare Krishna Keshav Anand Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for your attention and your time, Prabhuji. Please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Actually I'm outside somewhere. Is my voice clear? That's why I just wanted to ask you.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear.
Okay, fine. Okay. So let's just start the class right away. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, reading from 4th canto, 14th chapter, 19th verse. This is Tasya Ragyo Mahabhaga Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavana Paritushyati Vishvatma Tishthato Nija Sashane. So, translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. O Noble One, if the king sees that Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation and the super soul within everyone is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. Purport. It is a fact that the government's duty is to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfied by the activities of people as well as by the activities of the government. There is no possibility of happiness if the government or citizenry have no idea of Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original cause of cosmic manifestation. What if they have no knowledge of Bhuta Bhavana, who is Vish Atma, the super soul, the soul of everyone's soul? Conclusion is that without engaging in devotional service, neither citizens or government can be happy in any way. The present moment, neither king or the governing body is interested in seeing that the people are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are more interested in advancing the machinery of sense gratification. Consequently, they are becoming more and more implicated in the complex machinery of the stringent laws of nature. People should be freed from the entanglement of the three modes of material nature, and the only process by which this is possible is surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is advised in Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, neither the government nor the people in general have any idea of this. They are simply interested in sense gratification and being happy in this life. And the word Nija Shasane indicates that both government and the citizens are responsible for execution of Varnashram Dharma. Once population is situated in the Varnashram Dharma, there is every possibility of real life and prosperity in this world and in the next. Yeah, it's a great purport, and I think to understand this purport we need to really expand our consciousness, otherwise it doesn't happen. Prabhupada has given us a process to do that, and we can do it if we want in this life. In this life we can do it in spite of all the obstacles, impediments, in spite of us, our own selves, the enemies of our own selves. In spite of that, it's possible. It's possible actually. Anyway, let's discuss this. So I'll explain what I mean by the short preamble, what I just spoke. Okay, just let me offer obeisances. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Prachar Nirvishesha Nevadi Pashadesh. Okay, so here is a purport, and Srila Prabhupada actually he begins a purport by government, or to say king. The whole topic is about a king, and this verse is, by the way, connected to the previous verse because the first word is tasya. You see that word is there, tasya. So that means yasya tasya. You see the previous verse, it begins with word yasya. So yasya means of, Yasya and tasya, they go together. Yasya means of whom. Yasya means of whom. Tasya means with whom. So of whom? The king. Who? Yasya means of whom or who. The king who, the king of whose kingdom is actually following Varnashrama Dharma. Previous verse is all about Varnashrama Dharma. The king who is making sure that everybody is following their own duties. That is Varnashrama Dharma in one line. Of course, it's a big topic and a controversial topic. But of whom? King of whom? Of whose kingdom? In whose kingdom people are following Varnashrama Dharma, they are doing their own respective duties. In that kingdom, and with that king, with him, yes, tasya means with him. With him, with that king, what happens? Bhagavan bhuta bhavana paritushyati. Bhagavan becomes satisfied. Paritushyati means satisfied, and Srila Prabhupada's, actually the whole purport is about satisfaction of the Supreme Soul. That's all. So, now, the lecture ends here, that's all. So thank you very much. Thank you, that's all. God is satisfied. That's the ultimate, that's the ultimate goal of our lives, to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ye Atma Suprasidati. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says in first canto. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Roga Pajita Jinyati Ashu Vairagyam Vayanam Tat Ahitukam. And then Savayapam Samparo Dharmayato Bhakti Ratoksaja Ahitukiya Prahityata Ye Atma Suprasidati. Only by devotion, or only by pure devotion, the Supreme Lord gets supremely satisfied. That is Yatma Suprasidati. That's the whole point there. Now, Suprasidati, Sidati in Sanskrit means satisfaction. Sidanti. Actually, this word means satisfaction. Yeah. This word can also mean sadness in another context. But at large, it means satisfaction. And of course, if you take the meaning of this word as sadness, then the word implies that when the Lord is satisfied, the devotee finds satisfaction in sadness, in the sadness of separation from God, in the sadness of separation of God. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching is. But anyway, we are not going into that. But the whole point is, the Atma Suprasidati. Now, only by devotion, Atma is Supra means fully. Sidati means satisfied, fully satisfied. Here Atma in this verse means both soul and super soul. When God is satisfied, super soul is satisfied, the soul is satisfied. When the soul is satisfied, then God is satisfied. When the son is satisfied, the parents are satisfied, seeing him satisfied. And when the parents are satisfied, the son is satisfied that my parents are happy. And that is a devotion. It goes both ways. You see, if we expect from God, He also expects from us. If He has good news for us, the good news, you see, if you read Bible, they print on the cover of the Bible, good news. So if He has good news for you, the good news, Srimad Bhagavatam, the good news that you can surrender unto me, the good news, Sardharman Paritajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, the good news that I am ready to accept you, if we expect good news from God, the good news that if you surrender to me, I'll make you happy, I'll care about you. These are all good news, and that gives the satisfaction. So if we expect good news from God, doesn't He expect good news from us? And He waits for that, and He expects that, and He waits that whenever we meet Him in the temple, or especially while chanting, then He expects that we are supposed to give Him good news. Okay, when you are chanting today, then He expects, okay, what did you do yesterday for me? I want to hear. I'm expecting a good news. What did you do to make yourself more pure? And what did you do to make yourself more near to me? That's the good news He wants. What did you do to help others to become near to me? That's the good news He is expecting, and that is all chanting about. That is chanting of Hare Krishna. You see, it's different. Chanting is all about exchange of good news between God and the devotee, and when you make that exchange, then both the soul and the super soul become satisfied. That is called devotion, isn't it? My God, this is crazy. Anyway, so the whole point is, yeah, this is the bad news, such a voice in the background. But anyway, the good news is we are talking about Krishna. So yeah, so that's the good. That's what gives satisfaction. Now the whole point in this verse is about satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but that is something personal. You see, that's a personal issue between God and us. While we are chanting, while we are praying, it's very personal. But the whole point is not to become just, or not to just remain personal with God. The whole point is to help others to come in relationship with God. That's the whole point. That gives Him maximum pleasure. That is called preaching, isn't it? And that's what Mahaprabhu says, Jare dekho tare kho Krishna Updesh. The whole motive behind creating this complex machinery of sense gratification. You see, Prabhupada uses this line. The whole point of making this complex machinery, the complex creation, is such a vast creation, and the complex machinery of sense gratification in which people are involved. The whole point to make this creation and allow this machinery to go on. He can just stop it just by the wink of His eyes. He can just stop this machinery of sense gratification forever, in the blink of His eye. He can do that, but He allows it to go on. The whole point of this is to help people to actually come back to Him and surrender to Him and learn how to love Him. That's the whole point of this creation and this complex machinery of sense gratification. That's what Bhagavatam says, Bhoghartam, Mokshartham. He allows people to do sense gratification. And when people become frustrated by doing this, then by their own will, they surrender to God. And that's the purpose, you see. So that's the whole point. I mean to say, He's creating. He was alone in the beginning. Eko, He was alone. Bahushyam. Chandogya Upanishad, Prabhupada quotes, and He became, Bahu means many, Shyam means God. He became many. Bahusyat, actually, that He became many. So He became many, and he actually divided himself. He actually divided himself, or maybe let's say he actually expressed and gave form to all his energies, and he actually individualized his energies and made this creation and then make jivas and then allowed them to do sense gratification. It's a hectic job. I mean to say there's no headache for God, but at the same time, why all this? And the question is, why I mean to say, why God is doing all these things? He can simply enjoy in His spiritual world. Why such a vast sky, so many planets, so many living entities, so much miseries, so many problems, so much sense gratification, so deviations and good things, bad things? It's such complex. Why all this? Now, the whole answer to this question is to help people to come back to Him. You see, that's the answer. Now you can imagine, I mean to say, God was alone in the beginning of creation and He decided to do creation. Sisrikshaya, that's what Bhagavatam says, 1st canto, 3rd chapter. Sisrikshaya. Now, Srikshaya means creation. Sisrikshaya means He desired to do creation. Now, why? And the whole point of doing that, the word here is Bhuta Bhavana. Bhuta Bhavana. Now, this word is coming in Vishnu Sahasranam. Bhuta Bhave Bhavat Prabhu. It starts Vishnu Sahasranam. Om Vishmam Vishnu Vashatkara Bhuta Bhave Bhavat Prabhu. And then the word comes later, Bhuta Bhavana, another word. So right in the beginning of Vishnu Sahasranam, Bhuta Bhavana means He actually cares about us. He cares about living entities because we belong to Him. And He can go to any extent to save us. Any extent means any extent. Even for one person, if there's just one person who is conditioned, even for him, if it is required, He can do entire creation. Even for 5 people, even to save 5 people. If there are just 5 people in the whole creation, if there are just 5 people who have to be saved, and for that God has to, anyway, let's use the word Krishna. Krishna has to do entire creation just for 5 people. He'll do it. Even for 4, even for 3, even for 2, even for 1, He will do it. That's what is intensity of his urgency, of His love and mercy to save us. That's the intensity. And that's why He says to us, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. You see, my intensity is tivra, and you become like me in nature, not in quantity. And your devotion should be tivra. He expects, you see the point, He expects. So that is Loka Bhavana. He expects from people to come back. And He's doing so much in the form of time, in the form of super soul, in the form of God Himself, in the form of incarnations. He's doing and doing and doing and doing. That is called Bhuta Bhavana. Bhuta Bhavana. And our whole job is to assist Him in this mission of saving people. So He was alone in the beginning. Sisrikshaya. He desired to create. Now the whole point is, He desired to create. Now that desire has to come. Now why He desired to create? Okay, now we know the point. Now we know the answer. Loka Bhavana. He wanted to save people. But the whole point is, from where this desire is coming? Loka Bhavana. From what emotions this desire is coming? What is the emotions at the base? And the emotion at the base to save people is actually a planning. He's planning in his mind. He's planning. And he's planning and he's thinking how to begin. Well begin is half done. That's the whole point. The whole point is God is alone, and what He's doing? He's planning out of His intense emotions to save people. That's what the point is. If you meet God, what He'll be doing? He'll be planning. He'll not be just playing, not just playing, but also planning. And the amount of time we are there in this material world, you have to assist Him in His planning. When you go back to the spiritual world, then we can play with Him. What is required here is planning. How to save people. And that's Bhuta Bhavana. And the point I'm bringing here is this point because the verse is talking about a king, Ragya. Tasya Ragya Mahabhaha, king. Ragya means king. And the king, he's supposed to think of his subjects. At least in the position of a king, he's supposed to. That Wayne is not doing that, and that's why sages have come to advise him. And they're talking about God, and they're talking about the nature of God, and they're saying, see King Wayne, in a very polite manner, although they are hiding their anger, see King Wayne, you must satisfy Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so what is the nature of him? Loka Bhavana. And like that you should be, because you're a representative of a king. Indirectly, they are actually reminding the king of his own duty. The whole idea, the best way to actually satisfy Supreme Personality of Godhead is to become like him. That's all. Puta Mad Bhavana, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That person who is liberated, he attains to my nature. That's the whole point. I mean to say, so I'm not talking about Mayavad. You become God. You become like God, pure like Him. Your will becomes one with the will of God. Your plans become one with the plans of God. And then He's completely satisfied. That's what we are aiming at. And that's what these people are reminding him. You satisfy Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, how to do that? You become like Him. And anyway, you are also representative of a God. And that as a king. And you must become like Him. Like father, like sons. And then who is God? Loka Bhavana. He is always thinking Loka Bhavana. He's always thinking, here Lok means entire creation. Bhavana means for the benefit, for the welfare. And what does Prabhupada write? Let's see. Srila Prabhupada writes, who is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation? Yeah. The original cause, or the original benefactor, the welfare. Bhavana means who has bhavana for the entire world, the entire loka. That's one of the meaning in Vishnu Sahasranam, by the way. So, and that's why they are actually adding this adjective in Bhavit Bhagavan. They are adding this adjective, Loka Bhuta Bhavana, to remind them that you have to take care of your subjects like God. And you have to help them go back to God. That's what you should be doing. Just like God is helping everybody to come back to Him, you have to help them to go back to God. That's what your duty is as a king. That's all. But the whole point is King Gwen, he stopped sacrifices, and that's the triggering point. Your sages became really mad. They became really mad. So that's the whole point. They went mad actually. They went bizarre when he stopped sacrifices, and that's there. I mean to say in this period in previous verses. So you see the whole point there. And sages came here. Come on, what the hell you are doing? You're supposed to satisfy the Supreme Lord and become like Him. And you have to help people, and here you are actually robbing people and exploiting them. and then you are stopping sacrifices and stopping us. What's going in your mind? Of course, they're not telling him directly. In the previous verses, it comes that they actually suppress their anger. Of course, the first you have to advise somebody with sweet words. Sam Dam Dandabhed. And if that doesn't work, then other things come. But especially to a king, because he can also kill them. If he straight away says you're mad. But then you have to become like Prahlad. But that's a very different story altogether. That's why they are adding this adjective Bhuta Bhavana. And then they're adding another adjective, Vishvatma, with Bhagwan. And they're reminding when you have to be like Vishvatma. Now Vishvatma means the super soul of the entire universe. See, God is super soul of the entire universe. He doesn't just create the universe. He's there with every living entity as super soul to actually guide them, to inspire them, Upadrishtanumanta, to sanction their valid desires, what they deserve, according to their credit, to reward them. That's the whole point. To guide them and to reward them. So you should be like that, to actually guide them justly, to reward them justly. And these two adjectives goes right in the heart of. They come right from the heart of the sages, and it is actually sarcasm. And in the form of sarcasm, they're giving instructions, or in the form of indirectly they're instructing King Vain how she should be like that. And then, and especially because he's a king, the duty of king is to be a representative of a king, and then God will be completely satisfied. If God is satisfied, then people will be satisfied. So that's what this verse is all about. Nija Shasana, Prabhupada writes, Nija Shasana is very important. To like a super soul, he has to guide them to do their duties properly, according to their abilities. Just like super soul inspires and rewards every living entity according to his credits of previous lives and the desires of this life. Adhisthana tatha karta karanam cha pritak vitam vividesha pritak cheshta devam panchamam uchyate, Bhagavad Gita says. Similarly, a king has to guide people to do their duties according to Varnashrama Dharma. And here comes the role of Varnashrama Dharma, which Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport, and especially the last purport, which is connected to this purport. Especially that. So, like super soul, you have to guide them to do their duties, because according to the nature. Because if they don't do that, they'll be completely disturbed. And that's, I mean to say, you see, that's what happens in any society. A king or a leader or a preacher, anybody, if he doesn't know this art of engaging people according to the nature, there'll be chaos. Anyway, even after that, there'll be chaos. But if you don't have that, there'll be, what can I say, a complex chaos. Let's put it like that. An irreversible chaos. But if you follow Varnashram, there'll be chaos. Of course, you don't expect Vaikuntha here, but that will be reversible. That's the whole point. So, since spirituality, you have two kinds of chaos: reversible chaos and irreversible chaos. Without Varnashram, you have irreversible chaos, and with Varnashram, you have a reversible chaos. So that's better, I mean to say, isn't it? So that's the first duty as a king, like super soul, to guide people to do their duties according to their nature, and then to reward them. If they're doing their duties properly, to reward them. That's all. So that's how this verse is connected to Varnashrama Dharma. And of course, when we're talking about Varnashrama Dharma, I mean to say, we also have a society, ISKCON society. We have kings here, I mean to say GBCs, or leaders, or gurus. We have them who are overseeing everything. And then what's the duty? This verse speaks about that. Or maybe you all might be kings, small time kings of your own zone, or maybe 50, 100 people, your own empire, maybe 10 people, your own Bhakti Vikasa program, 15 people, 20 people. You have that empire of 15 people and you're the king, you're the leader, people listen to you. What are you supposed to do? Supposed to give a lecture? Yeah. Supposed to give prasad? Yeah. That's necessary, but then what else? What's the main thing? The main thing is this, Loka Bhavana Vishvatma. That's what the main thing is. Loka Bhavana Vishvatma. So Loka Bhavana means that's the main thing. That's what we're learning from this verse. And if we don't do that, then God is not really satisfied. Can you please hold on? 10 minutes आप chanting रहती है? आपको जाना है क्या? आप कर रहा हूँ मैं आधा घंटा. Yeah, sorry, I was just talking to somebody important. So that's the whole crux here. You see the point. We learn from this incident. That's why this incident is quoted in this Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we don't do that, we get curse of sages. We get actually destroyed. They'll curse us because we are not following our duties properly. So you see the point. This verse is connected to King Vane. This verse is connected to sages. This verse is connected to all of us, because ultimately we all are aiming to satisfy Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the whole point is, they reminded the king. You see the point, especially for the king. It is not your life. They come to remind him it is not your life. God doesn't live for himself, he lives for others. That's why he's God. That's what makes him God. I mean, this is one of the prime qualities, of course. That's not it. He's the original creator, destroyer. But the whole point is, if you talk about his nature, the prime quality of God is he doesn't live for himself, he lives for others. And that's the quality which actually gives birth to unconditional love and mercy. That's what we appreciate him for. The queen of all qualities, mercy, unconditioned. So we have to, to say, it's not for us. It's not a selfish thing, especially for Wayne and for all of us. The Bhagavatam is reminding us this. We are not supposed to live life for ourselves, and that will displease God the most. And that is easy to do if we simply hear Srimad Bhagavatam properly. And if we are focused on the aim, and then we have the whole parampara, Lord Chaitanya and Prabhupada, then we understand the message and follow their footsteps. That's easy to do. Of course, in one sense it's difficult, but not to live life for oneself. It's a big thing. Because if you learn that, you become godly. You're no more human. You're no more mortal. You're no more in sins, mortal sins. You become divine. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That's why we call him divine. You become transcendental. That's why we call devotees transcendental. Because when you live for yourself, then modes work on us. When you don't live for yourself, modes doesn't work on us. So that's So if we are not supposed to live for ourselves, we are definitely not supposed to do devotion for ourselves. And we can learn this small technique and we can just help people around us to whatever extent you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever extent. But in this spirit of Loka Bhavana and Vishvatma, in this spirit if you help them, in spite of people blaming you, or in spite of people opposing you or rejecting you, although you have that person all through, all along, that person comes and rejects you and opposes you. In spite of all these things, you keep on helping. And that will satisfy the Supreme Lord the most. That is the message of this verse. To King Vane, and through King Vane to all of us, that is a message, Paritushyati. And that will give you complete satisfaction. The whole root of dissatisfaction is actually living life for our own self, doing devotion for our own self. That brings it, dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction brings fear. And you can feel that in your heart. Even a slight disconnection with God, you can feel that fear of this material world. I mean to say, not just the fear of birth, that disease, old age, but a fear of being alone and lonely. You feel that. And that can all be dissolved. That can all be dissolved instantly. If we can catch the spirit of this verse. The Bhagavatam is, I tell you, it's super, but the whole point is you have to read it meticulously and you have to hear it properly from a devotee or from Vaishnavas who actually have this spirit. And this is this verse all about. Paritushyati Vishvatma Tishtatho Nija Shasane. No, that is what sages came here. They advised Vane, and they have given us a great teaching. And if we can understand and follow it, our lives will be perfect. We'll be satisfied. God will be satisfied. If God is satisfied, everybody is going to become satisfied. That's our mission. That's a goal. That is preaching, by the way. And that requires efforts and planning and a beginning which is that requires a lot of intelligence, a lot of faith, just like Srila Prabhupada. And Krishna will bestow all these things on us. He will bestow if you want to do it. He will give you if you want to do it. That's what sages came and told Vane. Vane, you're fool number one. I mean to say, they're not telling you fool number one now. They're saying you are a foolish person. You are living life for yourself. You're not taking care of subjects. God has given you a great opportunity. He has made you a king. Who becomes a king? From great destiny you have become a king from His mercy. And now is the time you can please Him the best. Because as a king, even your duty is supposed to take care of others. That's your duty. For all of us, it's not a duty. Or, although I mean to say it, so we are not bound by our duty. Shudra is not bound by our duty to take care of others. But king, Kshatriya, king, he is bound. And that binding is a mercy of Lord on King Vane. And he's saying, you're fool, you've got a mercy, and then now you can fulfill that duty and perfect your life. And then show others how to do devotion. You're not doing that. You're missing the whole opportunity. And the same message goes for us. We are fool number one. Krishna has given us opportunity to preach, and so many devotees and people who are leaders in the society they are actually getting so much opportunity, and they should they should use this full opportunity to actually satisfy the Supreme Lord by fulfilling their duty properly in the spirit of Bhuta Bhavana and Vishvatma. That's the spirit of this verse, the spirit of actually Srimad Bhagavatam, which is in fact, by the way, being revealed to us through King Vane. That's interesting. King Vane is becoming a medium to actually give us such nice instructions. So, we can say all glories to King Vane in one sense. First of all, his name is in Bhagavatam. I mean, it's all glories to Kansa. That because of him, Krishna had to do so many nice pastimes. Of course, we don't follow them, but directly, indirectly, they are becoming a medium to help us to understand. In that capacity, King Vane is teaching us. So his name is included in the Bhagavatam. And we can learn, advance, we can perfect the life in this life. Actually, we can do that. Although it appears impossible, it is impossible. But it can happen because we are in the time when actually Lord Chaitanya has descended. And he has made the process easy. He has not just made the process easy, but he has infused his blessings in the process. Hare Krishna mantra was all around previously, but now Mahaprabhu came and gave us, and Prabodhananda Saraswati says he infused his energy and blessings in that. And he explained the process so nicely, and people like me, you see, people like me, like such nonsense people like me, they are giving you lecture and explaining you such big concepts. These are big concepts. Why? How do we know all these things? Lord Chaitanya. So we have a chance when there is no chance, but we have, and we can escape, and we should put our best efforts. We should remain together, put best efforts, and perfect our lives, and inspire others to perfect their lives. That's the best thing you can do. And satisfy the Supreme Lord in all respects. Prabhupada says, satisfy the Supreme Lord in all respects. That's the message of this verse. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Is there any questions? And yeah, I'm done here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very, very beautiful class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very beautiful class. Anybody having any questions or comments for Prabhuji?
It's funny because I mean to say, you see the point, you say comments, but comments is a very negative word. No, that's fine, because in ISKCON there's a trend. It's not your fault. There's a trend to speak comments. But the whole point is, comments is a very negative word, because people say comment, then this means right. So in that, so I was just mentioning. So I was just pointing out to you that I was just thinking about this 2 days back, and it just came to my mind. So maybe we can say any questions or suggestions. Suggestions is a good word, I think so. It is in a very positive sense. Just
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, the voice didn't come in so clearly. Why were you objecting to the word comments? Can you repeat?
What's that? Comment. So I was saying comment is a very negative word nowadays. I mean to say always. I mean to say comment has a negative connotation. Comment means, so if you say please comment on that. Nowadays, I mean to say previously you have a commentary. That's okay in old English. And that time it was a very present, in a very positive sense. But nowadays, please comment on that. That means please find faults in that. So the whole point is, that's why this word. So I mean, as a speaker, I can say, if you have any questions or comment, because I want that you should find faults. But as a facilitator, another person, they cannot say any questions or comments. You see the point there? Because then they are saying you find faults in him. That becomes crazy.
Yeah, no, I've never had that experience of having that connotation associated with that word.
But now you understood, this point.
Yeah, but I understand, but I would never have had any negative connotation with that word myself personally. I haven't had that.
Yeah, you see the point. You have, but the whole point is, people have. I mean to say, there is a general. Yeah, some people might not have. Some people have. So this word is really dual sense, So better we can use a word which is clear and straightforward. It's a suggestion. Any questions or suggestions? But
okay.
if then I can say any questions or comments, please. Anyway, just by the way, I'm telling. I mean, it makes sense because some people are touchy and people on this around the world. There's so many people.
Okay.
Anyway, any questions or comments? Any comments or questions? Yeah, I can say that.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for my suggestion. Thank you so much. I'll try to do from next time. I'll not use that word. Thank you so much for teaching me. Hare Krishna.
Anyway, thank you for accepting that. No problem.
Thank you for giving me comment, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, fine. Anyway, so any questions anybody want to ask, or we can just, I don't know. So,
if there are no more questions, we would like to end the call here by offering obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vacha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Keshav Anand Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.